What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Divij podcast. We got another solo episode. Well, actually, it's not solo because we got my new puppy with us today. This is Winter the Pomsky. We just got her from Portland, Oregon, because apparently Pomskys are very hard to find. And shout out to Dominique. We put in a lot of work to find the right puppy, and we made it happen. We had to wait a few weeks until she was 8 weeks old, but now she's 8 weeks old, and we were able to pick her up. So this is Winter, and I wanted to bring her on the podcast so you guys could all meet her. But she's a little sleepy. She's fresh off a flight from Oregon, so she's definitely, I think, just been going through it. Took her to an art show yesterday, and then a house party. So she's been living her fucking life, to be quite frank. But she's been doing really well. Like she handles the chaos really well. She's very calm, which is nice. Um, and she loves attention. Like she loves it. So no, it's cool. She's super dope. We were debating between Luna and Winter as a name, but she has these like incredibly just beautiful blue eyes, and I was like, kind of reminds me of Winter. She's born in December 11th. So that's what we went with. So this is Winter. Go follow her, Winter the Pomsky. We're gonna be doing a lot of like cool photo shoots, different outfits, all kinds of crazy shit. It'll be fun. But this podcast is not about the Pomsky, unfortunately. I'm sorry. It's about NFTs, and I know you guys love this conversation, and it's one of those things where I'm fucking obsessed. You know what I mean? Like I was at this house party yesterday. Big shout out to Alex and Rebecca, and the whole time I was like, just I was in a conversation with this guy who works at like Netflix, or I think he was maybe even at CAA, and I think for 35 minutes I just talked his ear off about NFTs, Ethereum, blockchain, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go in and do a podcast. So today we're talking about launching an NFT project and kind of how I launched my project, Busted Brains, as you can see the shirt, what happened with the project, where it's at today, um, and kind of like the steps that I took to kind of get it from ideation to actually a project that was existing in the world, right? So, oh, she just yawned. So the idea for Busted Brains, which is the name of the project, came to me in I think October of 2021, and this is when I was kind of just still getting educated on the NFT space. Didn't really know what any of this stuff was. I had owned a few NFTs. I think I bought Mutant Ape, Cool Cat, World of Women, and a few other cool projects, but I wasn't too familiar with what was going on. But I decided to kind of just dive in head first and figure it out. So, I was doing a lot of research, a couple hours a day, just kind of reading and figuring out what this whole space was. And I realized you could do day trading of NFTs, and you can make a lot of money. You can make a lot of money day trading. Um, you can buy NFTs. There's a lot. I mean, Dead Fellas is one that I love to day trade. Um, the Heart Project, and you can buy them at a low price of like, zero point 0.01 ETH or zero point 0.1 or zero point 0.5, and then flip it for 1 or 2 ETH, and you make, 5-10 grand, and it's awesome. But what's even better is, and this is what I realized, was why not just have your own project on the blockchain, right? So I wanted to come out with a project that was very purpose driven. And for me, having dealt with a ton of anxiety and stress growing up, just from my own kind of like, doing, being an entrepreneur, like there's a lot of things that you go through. So I wanted to kind of come from that angle and launch a project that was mental health driven. So that's where the idea for Busted Brains kind of came from. But I had no idea. I was like, I don't know how to like make this an actual thing. Like I don't know how to actually put this into reality and make it something that people can go buy and then go resell on the secondary market on Rarible or OpenSea or whatever. So I started to do more research, Mother Google, learned a lot from that. And I realized that, you know, uh, these projects really they're launched on like either the Ethereum blockchain or on Solana. And me being kind of an advocate for Ethereum long term, because I feel like the entire metaverse space, and Web3 will be built on Ethereum, we decided to go and launch Busted Brains on the ETH blockchain. And when I say we, it was just me. You know what I mean? So me and my computer. And I was like, I need to have a team. I knew at the time I needed to have an artist who could obviously help, create the project and really ideate, my ideas and put them on a paper artistically. Um, and so I know I went to Clubhouse, I went to Instagram, I went to Twitter, and I basically just started joining community groups and talking to people in the space. And I got referred to this really cool artist who actually specialized in more like psychedelic art. So he would paint like mushrooms and like a lot of colors in his artwork, and it was super cool. So I hit him up and I was like, hey man, I have this idea for Busted Brains. At the time, I didn't even know what the project was going to be called, but um, I was like, hey, I have this idea. Like, can we do some artwork? So, kind of, did a few phone calls with him, and he sent back some artwork in like a week or two, and he sent back like a couple different renditions, and I was like, holy shit, like this is, it's coming to life, So that was kind of what ignited it, and I was excited. But I realized that most of these projects, they launch like 5,000 or 8,000 or 10,000 items in their project. Um, but I didn't want to launch a project that had 10,000. I didn't want to go higher. Mutant Ape I think has like 17,000. The Artifact project with CloneX has like I think 15 or 18,000. I wanted to keep it more exclusive and more limited. Um, so we ended up just choosing to go with 7,777 busted brainers. And at the time I was like, do I have to like have someone draw like 7,777 pictures? And so the answer was no, you don't. So the key with NFTs in this initial process, right? So step one is you come up with your concept, right? So for me, it was creating a project around mental health. Step two is you got to start to form that team, and you got to get the artist and really put those ideas on a paper. So once I found him, and I did research, and I found out that all you need to do is get the different assets of the actual NFT. So it could be the mouths, or the mouth. It could be the eyeballs. It could be the hair. The hair. It could be the outfits, the accessories. So all these different aspects of the NFT have to be drawn out, and basically you have to like have multiple different. I forget the term for it. It's not assets. It's I forget the word, but like specs almost of like the different NFTs, and then you basically just find someone who can put them into a random generator, and they can generate 7,777 or 10,000 or whatever combinations of those NFTs. So we ended up doing, I think, 222 different assets or different specs, and basically we found a team, a tech team. Big shout out to, I guess I won't really say their name here, but whatever, Theo. Big shout out to Theo, who really helped us kind of ideate and put it out there. But we basically just had him throw it in a random generator. There was a lot of other things that needed to happen, to be able to get the mint live, right? So if you guys don't know what that is, I mean, I guess like, we could talk about that. Like the whole step-by-step process with the NFT project, right, was initial ideation, artwork. You create all the different specs, and then you go to generation and the actual tech and development of the project. Because at the end of the day, when people are minting, and mint is basically like you're going to the website and you are basically like purchasing the NFT like from its source, and then you could go take that NFT and you could put it on OpenSea in the secondary market or whatever and resell. But to mint, you have to go to the website. So in order for people to do that, we had to build a website where you can actually go on and mint, right? So that was another thing in the process that we really focused on, was like, how do we create a website and a roadmap for the project that really communicated this like entire idea, or not idea, but like where the goal was like building a community around the mental health, like just the whole concept, right? So in the Discord, and Discord is obviously the place where people come in and have conversations and interact with one another. We wanted the Discord to really be a place where people could come in and like just share their stories about the issues that they're having with mental health, things that they do every day to help themselves with anxiety or stress or depression, whether it's like meditation, yoga, whatever it is. And we wanted it to be like a safe space. And the other idea with it was we wanted to have, therapists come in, psychiatrists come in, people in the space in terms of like influencers who have dealt with anxiety or depression come in and really have these conversations, and really just build like a powerful community. Now, with that being said, building a community is not an easy task. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes, you got to really have like a strong team behind, your project. And that was one thing I learned early on. And one of the mistakes I made was I didn't have the Discord manager set up. I didn't have moderators or people that I knew were going to be in there 24/7 just having these conversations. I kind of looked at it like almost a marketing play. You know what I mean? So to give you guys some context for Busted Brains, we finished the artwork, I think, in November of 2021. And then the development finished, I believe, in early December. And then basically once you hit the end of development, so the project is ready to go, with the click of a button, you could launch it onto the blockchain. It would load up, and people could go mint their NFTs. But before you get to that stage, obviously, there's this whole piece of marketing that you have to attend to, right? So building that hype around your project, getting the name of the project out there in the communities, um, getting celebrities and influencers and people in the space that are maybe prominent for or well known for their contributions to mental health, or they've been maybe vocal about their issues with mental health. So there's a lot of different pieces at play, and we basically, when my whole being an influencer marketer for work, I mean that's what I do. Like I wanted to really come at it with that approach because I know that's what I'm good at. So we launched it with a bunch of celebrities. We had people like The Game, Amber Rose, Jada Kiss, YBN Almighty J, Haha Davis, like all these people involved in the campaign in getting the name of the project out there. We had it on all the major NFT platform pages, like at NFT Money, Invest.nft, all these different places where people get their education for NFTs. And the whole idea was to launch within a 2-week period and really build that hype in that 2-week period. So, I think we launched it on December 11th or December 12th. And the idea was within those 2 weeks, build up what they call a whitelist. So people that are interested in the project, is basically like an early sign up list where they give you their email, they give you their name and information. And then once the list is filled up, you launch a pre-mint. So people that are on the whitelist get access to the pre-mint. They can then go pre-mint their NFTs before the actual public sale. And then from the pre-mint to the public sale, you have to obviously have those whitelist holders who now are actually Busted Brains holders or project holders. You really want that to be your core community of people who really spread awareness about the project. So, let's say for us, our whitelist was, I think, 500 people, and we filled up the whitelist within 48 hours. And we were super excited because it seemed like the celebrities, the influencers, and everybody was working, because we had, I think, within a day or two, we had like 2,000 members in the Discord, which is great for us being kind of like a mini startup with no backing. It was kind of just bootlegged. So we were like, okay, cool. Like, we're launching 7,777 Busted Brains at 0.06 ETH, which at the time was, I think, like $250 each. And, we filled up the whitelist pretty instantly. And I was like, cool. Like, people are excited about the project. Obviously, everyone can relate to the cause of mental health. So everything seemed to be going super well. And we were like, you know what? We should just drop the pre-mint and just have our whitelist holders go by. And, because it seemed in the Discord they were excited. They were having conversations. They were stoked. They wanted to see, what their NFTs would look like. They were, like, curious about it. And it was like, everyone was, like, eager to, like, get into it. So we launched the pre-sale mint. And within 72 hours, we only sold 80 NFTs, which to me was pretty shocking because we had thousands of people in the Discord. The whitelist was full. People were stoked about the entire project. So, that happened. And at the time, I think we'd already spent close to, $70,000 or $75,000 in marketing, with all these celebrities and influencers and NFT pages. So, that was kind of my initial budget was, I wanted to put in like $50,000 to $75,000 and really kind of like blow this thing up. But that didn't happen. People, they loved it. People that bought their Busted Brains, they were excited. She just fell asleep on the podcast. Oh, that's cute. But yeah, no, like people were like stoked and shit. And then it kind of just like almost fizzled out, and obviously that is part of my doing, not having the proper team kind of set up, the Discord managers, the moderators, etc. But what I realized from this whole thing, was you have to have those people kind of in place, ready to go. You have to have that team locked in. It can't just be a marketing play. You got to have like a real solid team, because at the end of the day, an NFT project is like starting a whole new company. You got to have your marketing managers. You got to have your salespeople. You got to have, this entire structure kind of set up. And so, whatever. We go from the pre-sale mint. We sell, a little bit of NFTs. And then we dropped the public sale within, I think, 2 weeks from that time. So I think mid-December is when we dropped the public sale. And, we saw some more action. People were getting into the project. People were hyped about it. Our core community was doing a really good job. And this is a really good learning lesson, is when you get those initial whitelist holders, or the people that are into the project early on, and they're super pumped about it, and they're building that hype, and they're really helping you, Um, Really two things. A, you want to give them guidance on things that they can do to help build a project. And then secondly, you want to reward them for doing those things, right? So some of those things that we were having our initial core members do, I mean, there's a lot of things, but really changing their PFPs or their profile pictures to the actual NFTs. We were having them basically do these different challenges. So every day we'd go in the Discord and we'd drop a new challenge. So it could be like, take a video of you calling your mom and asking her about her mental health, or, doing something, calling a therapist or something, and like, just doing whatever, like different challenges that kind of for us had like these viral aspects, right? So people were doing that and it was really cool. And we would also do like these really cool giveaways, right? So like, if you change your profile picture and tweet about the project and tag, 15 friends or whatever on one of our posts, you had a chance to win, zero point 0.1 ETH or whatever it was. So basically just incentivizing the early honors, as I like to call them, to really keep going and motivating them to keep being involved in your project. Because at the end of the day, you know, now that NFTs have become more mainstream, I mean, there's thousands of projects I think coming out per day that you see. So the market is getting very saturated, and if you can't build that really tight knit community for your project, which I think projects like Cool Cats, Bored Ape, CryptoPunk, VFriends, World of Women, they've all done a really good job of doing is they've built this like really solid community around one cause, right? And that's the biggest learning lesson is you have to make sure that you're continuing to incentivize those people by rewarding them with things, giving them insider looks into certain aspects of your project, like bringing them to IRL events, and being able to connect with these people on a really personal basis is huge. And also having like a really solid roadmap. So if you don't know what a roadmap is, it's basically you know telling your people or your community or potential community members what you're going to do to really build your project out. And also like at every phase, 25% of your project sold out, 50% of your project sold out, 75%, 100%. What are you going to be doing at these different points throughout the project? So it's basically like a little business plan, right? So for us with Busted Brains, um, we wanted to do something with BetterHelp, which is this really cool online therapy company. And we were like, you know what? If when we hit 25% or 50%, I forget which one it was, we'll give out, 100 free sessions of BetterHelp or therapy sessions of BetterHelp to our community members. Or another cool thing we were doing at Sellout at 100% sold out was, I think it was 3 or 5 Busted Brains holders would be getting $100,000 each in terms of just in Ethereum, just as like a thank you for their involvement in the project. But it was only for the pre-sale holders. So 3 pre-sale holders at Sellout would get $100,000 each for their involvement in the project and help growing it. So these are the kinds of things that are very important. Is having that roadmap. Incentivizing people, being very transparent, I think was another thing I've learned throughout this whole process is, when things went kind of south for Busted Brains initially, I had to really like go into the Discord myself and really tell people like, yo, this is what's going on. We're working on building the team. We're figuring out the marketing campaigns. This is how many we've sold. So literally as transparent as there's something called an Ether. It's either Ether Scanner or Ether Scan, where you can take that link and it basically just tracks the volume and the transactions of your wallet or of your project on the blockchain. So if you click the link, you can actually see how many NFTs were sold, who they were sold to, at what price. So in terms of how transparent you got to be, for me, I learned, and I've seen this in other projects, is they'll just put those Etherscan links into the Discord and they'll say, hey, this is where we're at. Like this is how many we've sold. This is how many sold today. And I think that transparency level with your community is just so important. Like it's so crucial to have just like no bullshit. You know what I mean? And initially, early on, I was considering. I was like, is it bad to be telling them, the community members too much? Should I be kind of like holding sensitive information? And I realized that like, we're all human. Everybody in these communities is a human being, and they just want to know what the hell's going on with your project. If something's going wrong, you just got to tell them, and you got to be honest with it. So that was definitely something I learned early on, was like, just that level of transparency is so key. So those are some of the key takeaways in terms of where Busted Brains is at now. we're reevaluating the team. We've still got, I think, 1,500 members in the Discord. in the Discord, the project is live, the mint is live, but we're just kind of figuring out the infrastructure of the project, figuring out the team members, and really trying to get people re-excited about the cause. Because at the end of the day, it is a great cause. You know what I mean? And it's pretty cool to see some of those early on people that join the community still being in there, really trying to, ignite conversations around mental health. Like it's super exciting, and it gives that sense of hope of the project um, is still potentially going to be able to succeed. It's just going to maybe potentially take some time. So if you guys are invested in Busted Brains, we're still we're still chugging along. We're trying our best, and we'll have some updates in the Discord, probably this week. I think by Tuesday. I think this podcast will be out tomorrow, hopefully. So, that's pretty much it, guys. It's an exciting space. If you guys have any questions on launching an NFT project or some of the learning lessons that I had, feel free to hit me up. But it's definitely a lot. There's a lot of money in the space if you do it right, and there's a lot of impact that can be made. I mean, we see what CryptoPunks has done. We've seen what Bored Apes and this new Full Send project. Big shout out to John and the entire Full Send team. What they're doing with Metacard is pretty crazy. If you guys don't know, what they're doing is, I think first off, they dropped 10,000 Metacards and they sold out and actually bought one. So shout out to the team. But they're actually going to have IRL like clubs and lounges where Metacard holders only will be able to go into these Full Send and Nelk lounges and just kick it with the Nelk boys or smoke cigars with Steve Will Do It or whatever, and like have these real in life experiences that no one else could have unless you're a part of that exclusive community. So I think that's another cool thing with NFTs is they're almost like passes or like VIP passes to certain things in your real life, and I think we're going to see a lot of this from other brands in the space. What's crazy to me was Full Send actually sold out, I think, quicker than Adidas's NFT project, and I think they sold more volume and they have more trading volume than Adidas's NFT project, which is pretty crazy to think about when you're comparing a large corporation like Adidas to, a very tight-knit niche community of the Nelk Boys and Full Send. But it just shows you the power of the internet and the power of influencers and in today's day and age. But yeah, just a lot of cool stuff in the NFT space. I think Web3 is going to be bubbling a lot more. I think we're going to have more action in terms of, or more clarity in terms of what the metaverse is going to look like and which platforms are really going to be, those ideal metaverses. Some of the ones that I'm looking at are the Sandbox, obviously, Network, Space, and I think Facebook/Meta will have, obviously, kind of a control in the space, which is kind of funny when you think about decentralization being the whole concept of it being, getting away from the corporations, like no longer needing to log into Facebook to go into your X, Y, and Z account. But at the end of the day, Facebook is Facebook, and they're going to find a way to have power over everything. But again, I think Meta, Network, Space, and the Sandbox are going to be those four main metaverse players. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see which company is actually going to be like the kind of go-to or the standard metaverse in Web3. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, again, hit me up. We're going to be having some guests on the podcast now. I think we're going to have the amazing Alana Pandey. We'll try and get some Web3 folks on here who can really dive in and give you guys some like really detailed information. I want to get Andre Jick on the podcast. That's what I'm pushing for. I think we'll have some other influencers and celebrities on pretty soon. But yeah, stay tuned for more episodes coming soon. Make sure you get subscribed, smash the like button, turn post notifications on, of course. Appreciate it. And make sure you guys go follow Winter the Pomsky, who is now knocked out completely on the podcast. Oh, I think she's awake. Barely. But yeah, go follow Winter. And that's it for this episode of Divij. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.